Hello, Angus here, and this is the first Q&A from my group that's been going for a year, and I've been wanting to do this since the beginning of the year. So I'm going to try and do this once a week, once a fortnight, where I'll put up a Q&A sticker and just ask you guys for your questions, and then I'll just answer them in a video format. I'll just read them as I'm doing just now. If you keep looking down, it's because my iPad's here with the questions for you. My group is called Angus's Metabolism Hackers. I'll put a link, it's on Facebook. And feel free to ask a question if you're not in that group. So let's dive in. So first of all, we got Russell asking, would you train someone with type 2 diabetes differently? He's trying to get hold of Layne Norton's rep piece on this. Layne Norton is a big shot in the nutrition space, and he does this monthly thing called reps where he breaks down studies. It's really good. Would I train someone differently with type 2 diabetes? There's a couple of things that I would do differently. So first of all, someone with type 2 diabetes absolutely freaking needs to train. And there's a big range of diabetes, of just diagnosed with diabetes or just about pre-diabetic and full-blown diabetes, where you're about to, type 2 diabetes in particular, where you're about to get your leg amputated, where it's just gone too far. When that insulin resistance is that far, popping that into remission can be really difficult. But it's still worth trying, cleaning up your diet and exercising, particularly if you don't have an exercise background. Your body will adapt pretty quickly. One of the things that I would really consider is people with type 2 diabetes are more likely to become hypoglycemic, which just means their blood sugar drops, and it can drop to a really dangerous level where I've had people in the gym before faint. You can see it happening, so you can grab them and you can lay them down gently and put them in the recovery position. Other people just need to sit down. They see it coming on and they need to sit down, and the whole room goes a bit woozy for them. People like that, you want to have some jelly babies on hand. One of the things with jelly babies is really high glucose, really fast acting. So a couple of, and plus you can dose them. I think it's about 5 grams in each jelly baby. So about 4 jelly babies will bring someone round and bring them back into the land of the living. And also jelly babies are good to have on because people with type 2 diabetes might not be storing as much glycogen in their muscles. So they might need a little sugar top up halfway through the workout. Once they start being able to handle, say, an hour-long workout, halfway through you might want to give them a little glycogen top up to keep them going, because the whole point of the workout is to do as many sets and reps as we can fit into that time. So there's a couple of things I would think about type 2 diabetes. And thanks for your question, Russell. And Russell is the Highland Body Mechanic, and he's a good friend of mine. And I don't normally like coaches in this group, but we will let Russell slide. He's a good guy. Shirley was saying that she had it sucked, felt nauseous. This is talking about my vertigo and my sciatica that I've just recovered from. That's why I've taken a bit of a break from things. It's all better now. We got Frank T in here, who has a massive YouTube channel in the health space. And again, don't normally like coaches in here, but Frank is a good guy. Hoping to interview him soon. He's got a massive weight loss story and makes some really good content on YouTube, which is definitely worth checking out. And he says, get well soon. And I appreciate that. Thank you. We got Christine. She's also saying she's had both of these. It sucks. It's really hard when you got vertigo and sciatica. It's such a horrible feeling. She's sending healing. Appreciate that. Thank you. Someone else is saying, I too have had vertigo, had it since January. I feel your pain because I haven't had it that long. It's eased up here and there, but it's never really gone. I've tried everything, MRI, all the techniques, PT, nothing seems to make it go away. Any personal input would be appreciated. I live in Cali. So for me, the vertigo I had was caused by a calcium crystal that goes into the inner ear, and it was on this side, and you do a specific set of exercises called the Epley maneuver. They were really beneficial for me, and that's pretty much what I got. The doctor diagnosed that I dropped down suddenly on that side, on the doctor's bed. The room went busy. He goes, right, calcium crystals on that side, do these set of exercises on this side, do it at nighttime before you go to bed. And I've heard different contradictions on this nighttime, do it before bed. That was really beneficial for me. If you had an MRI, I would be really interested to know what the MRI is saying and what your physical therapist is saying and what the doctor is saying. One other note is the calcium crystal. The reason you can release the calcium crystal is because you're not absorbing the calcium. And the reason you're not absorbing calcium is because you don't have enough vitamin D3 in your body. And you do live in Cali, and understand California is a huge state and there are cold regions in California. You might not be getting enough vitamin D. Depending on where you're living, I would go and see if you can get a vitamin D test to see what it's like in the blood, to see if it's low levels. And you want to take a vitamin D3 with a K2, and that's if it's the same as mine. If it's different type of vertigo, it could be a different issue going on there, and your MRI should pick that up. Apart from that, it sucks and you've had it since January. So sending healing thoughts your way. Okay, next question is from Anna. Get well soon. Sorry to hear about your health issues. I have a big main question for you. How do I find the balance between fat loss, muscle gain in my nutrition regime? I wish to lose fat and I want to tone and I want to do cardio and strength. So there's two answers to this. So the one answer is to do a body recomp is really hard. You don't really want to use the scale other than your scale shouldn't really move. So you should be in the gym, you should make sure that these strength exercises are making you stronger. Doing 20 reps with a really light dumbbell is not getting you stronger. You want to do something where you've got a gun to your head and you're doing 10 reps and on the 10th rep, you can only squeeze out maybe 1, 2 more, and that's with a gun to your head. That's strength training, that's stimulating the muscle, and that's causing change. And then you take a good old rest period, and then you do it again. 1 to 2 minute rest period, maybe 3 minutes rest period. And then you go again and you try and hit that same number again, and you try and hit that same number again. And if you're hitting that same number for the third time, it was probably too light and you could probably go a little bit heavier with that. So you really want to activate that you are getting stronger. Your cardio and strength, you might want to separate the days you do it. So you do strength Monday, cardio Tuesday, strength Wednesday. There's a thing called an interference effect where your body will always adapt for endurance because we're an endurance animal. So you want to do your strength exercises, hit the strength exercises, get the protein in post-workout, some carbohydrates in post-workout. That will start the repair process. And then you can think about doing cardio the next day. A little cycle, 5-minute cycle on the bike as a warm-up is not interfering with anything. The other thing you can do is do things in phases. You do a fat loss phase for 2 to 12 weeks where you're like, I'm specifically looking to lose half a pound a week for 6 weeks, which will give me a 3-pound targeted fat loss, and you keep your strength and your fitness in the background just going over. And then once you hit that, then you go for more of a, we don't want to say a bulking phase, but a fitness improvement phase where you're eating at maintenance and you're improving that. So an app like MacroFactor will tell you what your expenditure is if you're tracking accurately in there, and it will tell you how your body's changing. The other way to track a body recomp is you jump in on the scale. The scale is staying the same, but your waist is coming in, you're losing fat. So taking measurements all over your body, so your arms should tend to get bigger depending on how much fat you have on them. Your legs can get bigger when you're gaining legs and muscle. And when I say bigger, it's just you might lose an inch of fat and gain an inch of muscle. So they measure the same. But your waist, there's not really that much abdominals. They don't get that thick that if you do have fat on your waist should shrink in. If your waist is shrinking in, you're losing fat. And if the scale weight's the same, you're losing fat and building muscle. It's quite hard to track, which is one of the hardest things with a body recomp. And make sure you're eating over your EA, your energy availability. If you're eating under that, you're just starving your body. So you want to make sure if your weight's staying the same and your strength and fitness are improving and they're measurably improving month on month, you are probably body recomping. And if you use those measurements as a little background, just it's a lot slower than trying to take off, like hitting a hardcore fat loss phase where you're trying to go 2 pounds a week for a few weeks. It takes a little bit longer and you want something nicely structured. Okay, moving on to the next question. My Lumen subscription is expiring soon and I only have enough resources for one subscription. Should I try MacroFactor instead of Lumen? So I was going to make this video about Lumen versus MacroFactor and all the good points against each other, but then Lumen switched the game up where before, when the subscription ended, your Lumen was just dead, but now you can still take measurements outside of a subscription with Lumen, which I think would be the ideal. I don't know what that looks like because I've got a lifetime subscription to Lumen. I don't know what that looks like, but what I do is I track all my food in MacroFactor and then use measurements in Lumen just to see where I am metabolically. I like to do it in the morning, take my measurement in the morning, see where I am that morning. If I'm a 1 or 2, I like to do some writing or create some content. If I am higher than a 2, say 3, 4, 5, I'll normally try and go for a walk, and then I run like little experiments with the Lumen. And all you want to do is, hey, did this breath work? Lower my number. Did this cool down routine help lower my number faster? Did going for a walk? So currently what I'm doing is I'm taking a measurement in the morning, going for a walk first thing in the morning before I do anything else, and then coming back, and then I'll take a measurement the second I come back. and then I'll take another measurement about half an hour later. So I'm just wanting to see what effect that's having. And you can do that with Lumen without a subscription and track all your food in MacroFactor. With MacroFactor, you're going to get your weight trend, which is cool, and your expenditure, which is cool. So that is the system I would use. Don't forget to use Angus Logan when you download MacroFactor. You get a 2-week free trial, because just because I'm saying it's awesome doesn't mean it actually is awesome. It might not be awesome for you. I've had one dude who just hates it and he's gone back to MyFitnessPal, but everyone else seems to love it so far. So use Angus Logan in the affiliate code thing and you get an extra week free trial, and then you can see if you like it before you put any money. The final question from Teresa here is, when I talk about protein leveraging for fat loss, does it matter where the protein comes from? Meaning, if I drink a glass of milk or a bowl of cottage cheese, would that give me the same impact as a chicken breast? So what really matters is the total amount of protein in that meal. Your body is looking for amino acids. Once it gets a certain amount of amino acids, it's like, okay, we need to switch off hunger and we need to put these amino acids to work. They're making your neurotransmitters, they're building your muscles, they're repairing every tissue in your body. You got this 300 grams of protein turnover every single day. So any new building blocks coming in means the body can go, oh, awesome, we can repair that. To find out your protein number, really simple, your height in centimeters. So I'm 173 centimeters. I need about 173 grams of protein. If I really want to build muscle, eat a bit more than that. If I'm kind of want to be less, maybe 150. Split that between 3 and 4 meals. So say it's 150, that'd be 50 grams of protein per meal. The taller you are, the more protein you need. The taller you are, just generally the bigger you are, the more mass you have, the more protein you need. So, but does the protein food, to get directly to your question, so there's 2 types of protein, complete protein and incomplete protein. And what a complete protein is it has all the amino acids, and an incomplete protein has some of the amino acids. So something like beans, lentils has some of the amino acids. They also have carbohydrates with them, which I'll get to in a wee second. So anything that was once a living creature, or anything that was used to feed a living creature, like an egg or milk, has a really high is a complete protein, which will generally make you feel more full. But something like a glass of milk also has fat and carbohydrates in it. So when you're tracking that milk, so if you're going to drink glasses and glasses of milk to get your protein, you're also going to get a ton of fat and carbohydrates that you could be spending on other food that I would say would be more filling. So something like say tuna, which has a little bit of fat with it, and some of those fats are good fats, and a baked potato would be a really filling meal. You get a ton of protein. You get some protein from the potato as well, but that would be an incomplete protein, but it's fine because you got the tuna. And the baked potato is quite filling as well. So for the protein leveraging, you're really looking at your total amount of protein per day, but just be careful where you're getting those proteins from. So something like a McDonald's chicken select might be high in protein, but they're outrageously high in carbohydrates and fat too. So you're trying to avoid the fat and carbohydrates and spending those on things that you want. So you got this total amount of calories. You want to spend a big chunk of it on protein. It's a bit like getting your wage in, and you got to spend a big chunk of it on your rent. So your rent you have to pay, and that means the rest of the money is up to you what you want to spend on. And if you split your protein into, like, say 3 30-gram servings or 3 40-gram servings per day, really difficult to eat outside of that. Yeah, you might still want to have a biscuit, but your hunger will be switched off, which the new weight loss drugs like Ozempic, one of the things they do is they switch off hunger. Protein does the same thing. It switches off hunger because your body is looking for amino acids. So rule 2 of nutritional levels is get protein in the morning, kind of 30 to 40 grams of protein, 30 to 50 grams of protein if you really want. First thing in the morning, that will help control your hunger for the rest of the day. Because if you have a bowl of, say, cornflakes, yes, you're getting some protein in that milk, but it's not quite enough. Your body's going to be continuously searching for these amino acids, particularly in the morning, because that's your longest period from not eating. So say you've been fasting 12 hours, the morning or your first meal, your break fast, should contain some protein that will make you feel full. You can do stuff like having a protein shake before your meal and stuff can be beneficial for switching off hunger. But really just eating 4 square meals a day, no snacks, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snacky meal, all those containing about 40 grams of protein, will sort out most people. You just need to organize your life around that. Anyway, that is all the questions for this week. Thank you so much for all the questions. Join my group, Metabolism Hackers. I will pop the link below. I'll pop a bunch of links because it's Black Friday coming up. I have a bunch of discount codes for various gadgets and things that I like. MacroFactor, use Angus Logan. Lumen is on a really good offer for Black Friday. Black Friday 2019 is when I bought my Lumen, which was cool. And I think you can get it with a 1 month subscription for $219 for my discount code. It's like $90 off. It's insane. Or you can get the with a 12-month subscription is even more. It's cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe, and I'll check you guys in the next video.